first game of the season, and Arsenal have defeated Newcastle in a lot less goals than what I thought it would be, even the goal difference. 1-0 to the Arsenal, and it's an away win, which means good on for the Arsenal. I'm happy, but also I wanted to see more, and it's not just the new players, but I wanted to see that little bit of more energy and vigor and ruthlessness. You know, this weekend we saw Liverpool slap Norwich, 4-1. We saw Man City beat the shit out of West Ham 5-0, and you know, those were fantastic games. But we come up on this game against Newcastle today. Aubameyang playing up front in a 4-2-3-1. From the left, we had Monreal because Kolasinac and Ozil weren't in the games due to security issues with their family situation at the moment. A lot of idiots are just trying to do a lot of ridiculous things to them, and you know, camping outside their house and it being a threat to their family. So that was the main reason why both of them weren't in this game today. But Monreal at left back, at centre back we had Callum Chambers and Socrates, and then we had Maitland-Niles at right back. And as you can see from the smile on my face, you know I do not like Maitland-Niles at right back, but I thought overall in today's game he did considerably well, didn't really get a lot wrong. They definitely targeted him in that first half. I mean, the amount of times he got kicked and fouled was absolutely ridiculous. So overall, I think he did a pretty good job there. But you know, the real test is going to come against teams that are, you know, in the top half of the table. At least for me, that will finish in the top half of the table. But I think overall, I do have to say well done to Maitland-Niles, because I think he put in a good performance today for the Arsenal. The centre-backs, Socrates and Callum Chambers, again, didn't really do anything wrong. Again, I can't complain. I know a lot of people would have looked at Callum Chambers and think, is he the one? And I can honestly say that I felt that he did a pretty decent job for the Arsenal in today's game. Again, didn't really do anything wrong. I thought he was pretty much composed most of the time. And yes, you can make an argument that Newcastle didn't really pose much of an attacking threat, which would have caused a lot of pressure on them. But I still think that you need to be in those positions where you deal with those issues. And I think that Chambers and Socrates dealt with the issues that were there. Monreal, again, I thought he had a decent performance. Again, also defensively, attacking wise, he did provide elements where he was trying to go forward quite a bit. But I did think that he put in a good solid performance as well. Mainly he's kind of sat back and defended a lot of the time, just because that front three behind Aubameyang was mainly providing that width, and he was just there to kind of pass the ball from defense to midfield, or from defense directly into the attack. Then in midfield, and this is probably my biggest gripe, was Granit Xhaka and Guendouzi within that kind of playing within the two. Now, I don't like Granit Xhaka and Guendouzi playing in the two. Both of these players are so similar together. I mean, yes, their passing is pretty good overall, especially when they're having a good game. But these are players that have no pace. They have no drive to kind of drive forward from that central midfield role. And that was where, that's what I wanted to see more. But maybe this is one of those things where Emery tactically is just trying to figure out how can I give players games, but also make sure that I'm playing a team that I'm setting out there not to lose. And I think it was one of them where I thought, again, Guendouzi, he did well for what the situation was, but for me, he has a lot of things that he lacks. Holding the ball up, just defensively having a bit more defensive head on him. Those are the things that I felt that we kind of needed. Granit Xhaka, again, I think it was an okay performance from him, and I guess a bit of my gripes with Guendouzi is the same with him. Defensively, it's just not there, just nothing. When he lost the ball, he tried to get back a lot of the times, but just a lack of pace for him. Sometimes there were situations when he managed to get the ball, but just because of his lack of pace, be able to control the ball and then kind of to take it forward, he just wasn't able to do that. The Newcastle midfield were able to press him and he lost the ball once again. But it's one of those situations where like, I want to see more pace. I want to see energy within that midfield. I don't know who that could be. For me, a mixture of Torreira and from, when Bellerin comes back, Maitland-Niles could be that, or Joe Willock to be in that midfield as well. I think those three give us that energy, that pace, even with a little bit of defensive solidity. All three of them have the ability to be able to track back, and that's what I kind of want to see from the future. Now that front three, so we have a mixture of Mkhitaryan playing behind Aubameyang, Reiss Nelson on the right, and then Joe Willock there on the left. And there were times when Joe Willock and Reiss Nelson swapped sides, but overall it was both of them on the wings. Now, Joe Willock. A lot of the way how Emery is playing Joe Willock, I see shades of how Arsene Wenger played Aaron Ramsey when he really kind of broke onto the scene, or the season just before he broke onto the scene. Playing him out there on the wings, there must be a method to his madness, because even though I think Joe did a good job, and there were times that, you know, he was trying to use his physical pace and his prowess to kind of beat the Newcastle defense, and I thought overall he did a pretty good job, but I know he would have done a far more better job if he had an opportunity within either central midfield or more than that attacking midfield position. But I guess with the front three, a lot of the times they were interchanging quite a lot, so there wasn't really kind of a static, oh, Willock is definitely going to be out there on the left. There were a lot of times when he kind of shifted into the middle, and Reiss would go on the left and Mickey on the right, and vice versa. And it was an okay front three. For me, Reiss Nelson definitely I thought did well. Again, I want to see more from Reiss. I want to see him go in there trying to attack and to give me more. That's what I want to see Reiss. I want to see goals from Reiss this season, and that's one thing that we didn't see in this game. But I thought overall he did well in terms of his responsibility. He was able to track back. I think passing overall was decent. Tried to create a lot of chances and crossed the ball really well. There was one corner that we had where Joe Willock was really close to scoring a goal that came from Reiss, that I thought that overall kind of Reiss Nelson's game, I thought nothing really wrong, but again, nothing that wanted me to stand up and say, you know what, wow, Reiss is the guy. And that kind of goes the same thing with Mkhitaryan. Again, for me, Mkhitaryan, just being one of the senior officials, I expect more from Mkhitaryan than I do from Reiss Nelson and Joe Willock. And this was one of those games that I felt that he was just the same. He was just the same player that we see all the time. A player that, yeah, he works hard, yeah, he tracks back, yes, he isn't blessed with a lot of speed, but it's one of these players that I just want to see more from Mkhitaryan. And it's just one of these situations with Mkhitaryan where I know he's got the last 2 years left on his contract, and I see that he just isn't going to be good enough to play for Arsenal in the future. Who knows? Unai Emery talked about a few days ago that there will be players leaving the club, and I think that he might be one of them, along with the likes of Mustafi and along with the likes of El Nene. So let's see what happens really there. And then to the star man and my man of the match, definitely Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I mean, he's doing wonders for my fantasy team right now, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Just provided the energy that we needed and provided the goal. And he is the reason why I'm standing to you here today to say that Arsenal win this game 1-0 to the Arsenal. Again, I cannot fault him one bit. So fantastic performance by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now to the substitutes. So we didn't see any of the main guys that we purchased really start, but we did manage to see Dani Ceballos, we saw Pepe, and we did manage to see Gabriel Martinelli, which I was really surprised at. But Pepe overall didn't really manage to get on the ball a lot, and you could tell this is a game where he's just looking to kind of get match fitness. Wasn't really in the game that much to where I'm like, yeah, I could see that's Pepe from Ligue 1. But give him a few more games and I think we'll be able to see more from him. Danny Ceballos, I think again this is one of these games where he did even better than the last time I saw him. Was able to track back, create a lot of chances. Dribbling I thought was really well. Helped to create a few chances. Overall, it's one of these games where still too early to judge him. But let's give him a few more games. I think in the next few weeks, then we really see Danny Ceballos being the player for Arsenal, or at least seeing what he was doing at kind of Real Betis and Real Madrid and what he could do at the Arsenal. And then Gabriel Martinelli kind of being the last substitution. Really came on the pitch and did an okay job. Wasn't on the pitch for that long, probably for about 10 minutes, and didn't get much opportunities. But I think overall he did what was necessary. He tracked back, tried to do a few kind of step overs and use his physical prowess to be able to beat the defense. But I think, you know, now you kind of really see pre-season where he is, and now being in the Premier League where he can be, and you see that there is a difference. And you know, it's going to take him a while, and I see him kind of periodically getting chances, especially with Alex Iwobi going. So Martinelli, still early days, but I think overall, again, for me, it's like a 5 out of 10 performance for him. But guys, thank you again for watching this video. Leave your comments and thoughts on what you think of the game. Overall, I think the game could have been much better. I wanted more goals, but I can accept just getting a win, especially an away win. Leave your comments below. Really looking to kind of get your thoughts on this, and I will see you guys next time.